Okay, so I think when you go in, actually, it plays like some sort of a cutscene or something. So, yeah, this is only my second time playing the game ever. The first time I played it was many years back, probably right around when it first came out, or at least closer to that. So, all I did that first episode, I always use it as like a reference point that it like triggered people because of how slowly I played it, like I often do with games. Like, spent like an hour in that first screen just like running up the walls and trying to see how much you could parkour and whatnot, and like fucking around in the water and stuff. And then the rest of the time, it was like a 4 hour stream, I think. And then I spent like 3 hours in that other first like open area when you first go through. I wonder if you'll even start in the same general screen and stuff like that, or if they've changed how that works. You really delete? Yeah, I kept sending like different permanent challenges. Like I have to get to 1200. Then if I can't, then I have to delete it, and I can't come back for like 6 months. And then I did it again, and I always do challenges like that with everything. But the point is, it shouldn't be that difficult to get to a mere 1500 ultimately. So I just wandered around that open grass area, like once you go through and you fight enemies and stuff. And then I got to the town, and that was it. That was the whole episode. So people were getting pissed, like, why are you fucking slow pacing it so much? So it'll be almost the same style. And what else? Just, I remember comparing it to Breath of the Wild somehow, even though I didn't really play Breath of the Wild. It's just like, oh, they copied that somehow because it's a grassy open area. I don't know why I was so fixated on that comparison. And what actually made me want to play it the other day was I just played Pal World, obviously the Pokemon clone that everybody's losing their minds about. But somehow the art style of that just made me think of this. So I was like, oh, I want to try this again. And the one thing I'll say that this game kind of stood out is it kind of made it seem like they were placing an emphasis, like it seemed like a single player standalone type of experience where I don't know what the business model is, the microtransactions, or even what the multiplayer element is, but at least the way they presented it kind of appealed to me from the sense that it didn't seem like it was really relying on those things. It's like, oh, it's just a single player experience and you can just play it like that. And if you want to do those other things, then that's fine. That's like a bonus. Maybe I'm wrong, and it does kind of beat those things like a dead horse, but data will not be shared across servers. Fine. And it's showing me like console controls. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, will we start on the beach in that same way that we did before, or is it going to be completely different? I'm pretty good. Oh yeah, and one thing I'll bitch about a little bit is the download size of this game is fucking insane. I needed like 170 gigabytes, so that's why I'm even starting so late. So I had to clear stuff out and go through old things. And you might say, oh, you should have that much, but like for Ark Survival Evolved kind of surprised me that way too, how it's like 150 gigs or something insane. So the game itself is only like 85 gigs, which is still a lot, but it requires like 170 because you have to unpack or unzip whatever. So it creates like double. So the point is that's insane for what it's supposed to be, like a mobile game or something, because you can play this on your phone apparently, but apparently on PC it's insanely big. And I always complain about that with like the 2K games, like, and even once you're in the game, you have to do this shit. Like I just spent an hour trying to download it and set my space and everything. Now I have to sit through again. But no, like NBA 2K is like 150 gigabytes. It's like all you're doing is dribbling a basketball and going up and down the same court over and over. It's like one court that you have to do with a couple different variable assets of like the logos and stuff. Why should that be that big? They're just lazy when it comes to compression. At least this is going to be like a big open world kind of game with like thousands of different environments and stuff. So that I can understand. It just has a lot to do, I think, with graphic settings sometimes. But even then, the graphics of NBA players or whatever other sports games are always so massive.
So, what you're trying to say is that you fell here from another world? But when you wanted to leave and go on to the next world, your path was blocked by some unknown god?
Let's get it.
Outlanders, your journey ends here.
I do remember this.
Who are you? The sustainer of heavenly principles. The arrogation of mankind ends now.
I was like, why is it got to show the user ID thing there? Oh yeah, you get to actually. I forget if you actually get to play here, or if you're just choosing like this is the character that you're going to become. This is like a Metroid Prime moment or something where like your character loses all their abilities and then they have to get them back, like or like in Symphony of the Night where death takes all your items and shit, and then you got to work your way back. But yeah, why has it got to show the user ID thing there as we're watching this epic battle cutscene? Did you know that the loading screen turns to night when it's night in the real world? That's interesting. I wonder if the game's time of day is like that too. Like when you're in game, it'll match what your real life time zone is. Let's do the girl, I guess. Let your name be known. Oh, here we go, dude. The only female RP name that I ever know. Or like for the Star Wars one, I did like Terraliction. Can you do like 2 names? Oh, cannot contain spaces. And that even was the name of an MMO itself, but that's not really why I use it. It's just the only good female name I can come up with. You don't actually get to play here, though. Yeah, this might be exactly the same, though, as it was. Which is good. I'm glad. Sometimes, especially speaking of MMOs, they can completely change what the initial experience is like. Just because you come up with new expansions doesn't mean you can't still start the player at the first one and everything like that.
Wait, don't go! Get my brother back!
I always choose a guy because it doesn't feel right to have a female main character.
The god took away my brother. Some kind of seal was cast upon me, and I lost my power. So whilst we used to cross world after world, we are now trapped here.
Yeah, see that exact trope of, I don't know what you even call it, like where the character loses their
How many
powers at the
years
beginning.
ago was it? I don't know. But I intend to find out. After I awoke, I was all alone. Right up until I met you 2 months ago.
Yeah, Paimon really owes you for that. Otherwise, Paimon likely would have drowned. So Paimon will do her best to be a great guide. We should head off. Let's get going.
Here's that beach, and I stood here and I read like every bit of flavor text and everything, as I often do in games. Adventure rank 1. But no, I think it's the opposite with a game like this. You got to play a cutesy kawaii girl because that's just part of the whole art style and the vibe of the game. No matter how badass and powerful your character might be, that kind of adds some sort of fantasy element to it. So yeah, we kind of wandered around. We tried to parkour up the cliffs and stuff, but maybe something like that will get me killed, which is always unacceptable in a permadeath context. I feel like there was some restriction on swimming that would, like I got to that island and I picked up some item, but I don't know how because I got like a bow or something in the water here. I'm gonna seem like an expert on the game, at least on this first screen, but anime girl's voice is so cringe. I don't want to risk wet. I don't want to risk like dying or something here, but I guess I'm a little more scared because I don't think I did that as a first playthrough permadeath. I don't know if that runs out, like what happens, and I don't really care. Maybe I'll not be so thorough this time. But no, there's definitely like some bow item or something I picked up here. Maybe I won't fuck around so much this time. Take your little backpack here, or how do you even do it? Wait, oh, do you just like let go? Okay. Dull blade, sword, base attack 23, youthful dream. These icons always make it seem like it is some sort of mobile game type of shit. Like you have to buy, I don't know how to explain it. Like you buy this 4-star character. It was even showing that on like the title screen before I guess I launch it. Like you buy this 4-star character for money and then let it auto battle for you. But that's not really the kind of game the style this is. This is more like a hands-on active combat thing, I think, from what I remember. So I don't know. It's just some visual thing that turns people off, I guess. I have no backpack. Oh, but what am I looking at now? Youthful dreams and the thrill of adventure. If this isn't enough, then make it up with valiance. No items, no items. What is this? Artifacts, character development, food, materials, gadget, quest, precious items, furnishings. What the fuck did I do? Oh, maybe that's the one. Maybe it wasn't that island. Man, my memory is kind of selective like that. How the fuck do I remember that so specifically? I mean, I guess it's like the only thing I did, maybe, but you got to be able to make it there without drowning or dying or something. I think you can game the system here better. If you don't do this dash or whatever, you'll get farther, but just slower. Or maybe it's about the same. You can also start your villain arc with the girl. I don't know what that means exactly. There'll be some plot choice later on or something. And then you'll fight against each other. Press B to open your inventory. It's like that's what I said. Yeah, I'm already discovering secrets on like the first screen. Everybody's telling me to rush and why are you dicking around? But look what I get rewarded for my dicking around. So then it doesn't feel as bad. Nice little dive there. That's like the game telling you that, oh, you're doing the right thing for doing that. Adventurous pocket watch, all kinds of stuff. I'll look at it when I get back to the beach. Items drop, most annoying mechanism. Yeah, this is going to be a loot heavy, crazy kind of thing. Still better than Path of Exile Diablo style games though, because they're, at least the perspective on that is what annoys me, how it's this bird's eye view from so far away. Yeah, let's see what kind of itemization mechanic they're going to have here. A polearm is straight as a flagpole, well suited to combat in most situations, has an imposing presence when swung. Same base attack as that in the star quality. Weapon experience material gives 10,000 experience. Legend has it that this refined ingot contains the memories of battles that had taken place in the land. The weapons that benefit from the memories naturally become sentient. Forge or random event reward. Weapon experience material gives 2,000 for unknown reasons. A special and refined ore can be absorbed by weapons to greatly increase their strength. Okay. Adventurous pocket watch, Sands of Eon. Energy recharge 5.8%. Like, I wonder how many people actually find that one island. It's not that hard to see, I guess, the chest at an angle, but probably everybody just doesn't stay on the beach and just runs through. Or that's what everybody seemed to be wanting me to do. +3. I just love that. Like in The Witcher, I did the same thing. The original Witcher. I'm playing that for the first time, and I spend the first episode, which is like 3 or 4 hour stream, just reading all the flavor text in the tower and not even doing any gameplay because they give you so goddamn much flavor text to read. Like it's based on a book or something that they just have so much to draw from right away. Attack +3.5%. Adventure 2-piece set, max HP increased by 1,000. Which seems like a lot for, I don't know what your base health here is, but 2 out of 1,800. I wonder if that would be the total in the whole game possible to get, or just the total that you can carry at one time. 4-piece set. Opening a chest regenerates 30% max health. Interesting. It's easy to lose track of time when you're adventuring where the sun doesn't shine, whether that's the depths of the abyss or the ruins of a lost city. Okay, what else did we get? I guess that's it, or no? A Nemo sigil, city-state sigil, 3-star, an insignia that shows the recognition of winds of Mondstadt can be exchanged for special items in Mondstadt. Exploration reward. I don't want to really even use any of that stuff yet, but let's just see how it works. Like, what if I want to equip this one instead? They probably haven't introduced the mechanics yet to the point where they'd want you to do that. Yet they would let you get items that would make you wonder how to do it. Right? Like, oh, it hasn't been tutorialized how to change weapons, but yet they let you get a weapon. And whatever. I won't worry about it yet. At least we got some cool collectibles. I don't think there's anything around there, but see, it kind of lets you climb up the rock. So it makes you think like, oh, maybe I can get up all the way up to the top there, but... Yeah, I do like the graphic style and everything. And it looks almost exactly the same. Like, I don't know if they would have improved the base assets that much or anything like that. And yeah, I think I played a lot of female characters actually lately. Like he's going against a stereotype like I always used to when I was younger, maybe only play male characters, so I'm almost trying to make up for it and balance out and try these instead. Just in a lot of games I played, or even as far as like character classes, I would always play mages and magic users, and that was always my favorite class to play, and so I almost overdid it. So then I want to kind of balance it out, so lately I've been avoiding doing them for that reason alone. Wanderer's Trail, Paimon. Maybe this chick annoyed me a little bit. I do remember her, the stupid fairy thing or whatever. What is this one? Oh, that's just showing you like maybe your party members or something. Little waypoint there. I think you can kind of wander around here a bit. When near a teleport waypoint, use F to unlock it. Could be like a no waypoint fast travel run if we want to make it that. Oh, maybe there's something here. I don't remember. They give you this little rock in between to get to. Yeah, we get this big grassy open area, and I just kind of wandered around that the whole time. I think that in this position you play Knight F3. Yeah, I wonder if there's mounts and stuff in this game. This game is insanely popular, actually. I'm surprised. Even after this long, like, oh, you can probably go up there. Like, it had like 24K viewers or something even now. It just makes it look like you can do stuff like that. I don't think you'll really die. Even if you run out of stamina, you'll probably just fall back down or whatever. I'm pretty sure I did go up there though somehow. Like I just want to test the climbing mechanics to see like how far can I really go with it. Uh-oh. That might have been a mistake. What if it runs out? I don't know. I don't know why I feel like that'll kill you in a sense. Like it'll make you despawn and respawn somewhere back, like the old Zelda mechanic of like falling off a cliff. Like it doesn't technically kill you, but it should. Yeah, see, because this takes up very little stamina. You could easily have done that, where you climb up to the top there. The thing is, I don't think there was anything even up there. Yeah, let's put that to the test again. Like, how many people would have done that as well? I don't think it'll kill you. Star Snatch Cliff, high difficulty. Well, yeah, we'll go up there triumphantly and be so satisfied that we found some secret that probably nobody looks at, but then we'll get killed by some high-level enemy. I don't really remember exactly how the combat worked, to be honest. What was I doing before where I did like some sort of dash? I guess it just looks like that when you first sprint. Well, how was I RP walk? Oh, you RP walk all the time. This is the old Red Dead Redemption or GTA style. You go from this to this. There's no in between. Sweet flower, particularly fragrant flowers. Oh, you can't even read the whole thing on there, though. Oh, what is that? I don't know if I could have picked that up or killed it or what. Teleport waypoint. Unlock, go to the foot of the cliff. Adventure experience times 10. Open the world map, select an unlock teleport waypoint, teleport that location. Fine. Imagine a horse comes out of nowhere and kills you. Reminds me of chess. But at least they're so predictable because they're such short range garbage pieces. In my view, I always trash talk them anyway. Got the map. I try not to use maps too much in general. I do love that it feels like you left out the part about, oh, if you're on a really, is this gonna be like the fuck? Gonna be like the standing stones from Skyrim where you get to choose your playstyle or something? Like you left out the part where if your stamina runs out on a high cliff, is it gonna kill me from the fall damage or not? That's what she really should have explained. Because I'm the type of clown to do exactly that. try to climb to the top of this, which again, I think you can do, but it's probably very ill-advised. The right click does like a little dash. Probably a chest in the waterfall. That's a classic. Uh-oh. Yeah, what would happen? Oh, see, that's what I mean. Does that count as dying? I just died. I have to restart my character. Like, really? That... I don't know if that should count or not. Because it took away a little bit of health, but... I guess I won't count it, but... I could have easily... I'm exploring too frivolously here. You would think it would be more notable if you died than that. Or, like, quite frankly, I don't know what would happen if you do die. Do you, like, respawn somewhere else? Or... 'cause that's kind of anticlimactic if you just respawn in the same spot. You should, like, go back to the beach or some hub sort of area. Yeah, imagine. This is the kind of dumb ways that I do die in my permadeath runs. The fact that you spent like 30 minutes walking around to only miss the tutorial and walk through it anyway. Well, it's not really that I miss it, but I'm just kind of not really trying to go straight for it. And now that'll be a heated debate whether that after I complete this first playthrough permadeath run perfectly, they'll be like, well, technically, is it invalid because he went in the water at the beginning of the game like a clown and drowned? Does that invalidate the whole run? Got some fruits here. I remember using maybe like some fire spell, or maybe that was just what enemies kept doing here. Yeah, so all I did was get to that town. I hate that it shows you the user ID there all the time.
That's a statue of the Seven. There are a few of these statues scattered across the land to show the Seven's protection over the world. Among the seven gods, this god controls the wind. Paimon's not sure whether the god you're looking for is the animal god, but Paimon will take you to the animal god's place first, and there's the reason why.
And then we gotta double up the annoying cutesy anime female voices that we hear too.
As we all know, poetry and language flow like the wind. There'll definitely be someone there who knows about your brother. At least that's what Paimon thinks. Whether the gods actually answer you is a different story. You never know unless you try. So let's hop to it.
Whether it be this, this chick or ourselves. If we have like a base, we did have a base voice at the beginning. I don't know how much I should use that throughout. Yeah, we just fought a bunch of random stuff here.
You can swim right over.
Swim to the island in Starfell Lake. Man, I really wish I hadn't drowned like that though, because it hurts the purity of, for whatever that's worth. I should totally count stuff like that as a death. Maybe they won't spawn in the enemies yet because it doesn't feel like I'm ready. I swear there were a bunch of enemies all around here. Oh, here we go. I think it was pretty easy though. Like, it's not going to punish you too hard. Level 3, I can easily just kill this guy. Where's like my roll ability though? Shit. These are a little over leveled for me, but this is a real death knell moment when you run out of fucking stamina. Yeah, this is where the whole Breath of the Wild comparison comes in too. There's just something about it, art style wise, maybe presentation wise. Every game is Breath of the Wild. Every game is, even when I'm playing that stupid Power World.
Is this an answer from this world?
Raw meat, for handled properly, it can be. I don't think stuff's gonna go bad or anything. This isn't gonna be a survival game. Now, is that actually a mechanic in the game that, oh, your sword is floating just because you have some sort of telepathic ability there, or is it actually just some lazy visual bug type of thing? It seems like it's just one of your character's powers to be able to do that, I guess. That seems very intentional. Yeah, so let's just ignore the tutorial stupid Paimon chick, and we'll go become a loot fiend over here. Oh, here's the fire stuff maybe I was thinking about. You gotta maybe use something. There's like a roll you can do, and I don't know how to do it actually. Now that's control. I keep doing that. Kind of my mistake. Or I mean, just even using the sprint that way. But no, I mean, the combat is fun. It's not like one of these auto battler stupid things that you would somehow expect. I don't know why I would expect that, but just the fact that it's on mobile or whatever. I just remember seeing that it's so conspicuous that, oh, you can get the full experience on your phone for 1/10 the size, the download size, apparently, because they wouldn't expect your phone to be 300 gigabytes like that. I hope that by the end of the year I can get close to 2K ELO. Yeah, I mean, you got the majority of the year left, but it is definitely insanely hard. I think I just never appreciated how long it takes. I really had that perception, like when I was younger, like, oh yeah, the best players just play the game and they're automatically the best players. Like, seriously, this is how people talk about it, like, oh, innate genius and this and that. Like, that's not how it works. The best player in the world would still study for an insane amount of time, and then does my health go up on its own, or do I actually have to use something to do it? Because I'm very stingy about stuff like that. I'll die with a whole bag full of millions of healing items that I could have potentially used. I don't know how respawns of items and things like that work. I don't know even if there's fall damage, really. It'll be easy, well, it'll be time consuming at least, which is a form of difficulty for many. Yeah, even the best put in the work. So it's like the Michael Jordan thing. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I made it look easy. Maybe I ruined the game. Right? You only see the highlights. You only see the flashy stuff. You only see the blitz chest and the bullet chest by Alex Botez and Hikaru showing off all their flashy little moves and take. You don't see the years and the decades of work and effort and study that actually go into it. Right? So you only see the surface level and think that's all it takes. Like, oh, he's just sitting there, take. So that's the sad part, that I almost bought into that mythology of it. Not because of the Twitch side of it, but just as whatever I knew of chess or saw of chess was just like, oh, these people are just so smart. Whenever you see something, rule number 1, just try to attack it. Exploration knowledge. Mysterious Sealy. Mysterious beings called Sealy. Now you see how dangerous this sort of screen could be, because the game's taking place in real time, isn't it? Since I have to be connected to the internet to play it. I don't know how that works. Can be found scattered all across Teyvat. If you follow them and help them get to their final destination, perhaps something special may happen. Don't use the term final destination, man. That'll make me think of the movies. I won't want to fucking follow that shit. I remember that you said once that you could increase your ELO by only playing games. I mean, you can, and I even proved that to an extent, but the rate at which you'll increase it will be like 1 rating per year instead of 100 or something, or 100, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be 1/10 the speed, so it's just not worth it. Everybody would rather cheat and just come up with borrowed knowledge and nonsense like that. Like, I would rather lose in an era to like Paul Morphy and get clowned by people like that, but at least the era would be that everybody is having to come up with it themselves instead of, oh, everybody's just using borrowed knowledge. So it just comes down to how much you study. It depends on that like way too much now. I keep doing that. How the fuck do you roll? I guess that's as close to a roll as you're gonna need. Just a little dash thing in there. Look how far you can kite the dude. Use the little Dark Souls logic that you never want to overcommit and greed, but you can kind of get away with it to a degree. Yeah, we just wander around and do this. I don't even care about the Paimon or the tutorial or anything like that.
Is this an answer from this world?
See how fast and smooth the looting is a good sign, because it's like they expect you to be doing this millions of times throughout the playthrough. So it's like it's not making it like super laborious where like I don't even care what I'm picking up. I'll just worry about it later, and then I'll never even worry about it. I could be getting item upgrades, stuff that's gonna heal me, like I don't even give a shit. Yeah, little enemy base here. I can't remember if I casted a spell or like I just remember some big fire spells going on, whether it was those little critters or not. And obviously I should do the stupid thing. It'll probably give me some ability or otherwise. Yeah, that's the one thing I can't really tell is whether it pauses it or not. Like when you, like if an enemy's attacking me and I pause it, is it gonna still keep hitting me like it would in a lot of other games? There is this guy that took 1 year to go from 1,100 to 600. He was happy about that. I mean, there is a certain standard, not to be mean to low-rated players, but like, you could play for the first time and you should be at least 1,500 in my opinion, although even I'm not that. But like, you could play for the first time and I be like at least 1,000. Nobody should be sub 1,000, even if you've never played before. This is a little bit dangerous. This dude's way too fucking fast. What's up with him? Yeah, I want that torch. Destructible environment shit going on. It just turned it into a hitless run. Look at the. Oh, fuck. Or if you hold it down, you do some of these other sexy kind of animations. More 19. Being a little bit overly ambitious here, but 606, kind of burning myself up. It's not my fault that my character is just so hot. Ha. Looked like I really deserved to get hit there. Or maybe that's just what I should do every time. That feels a little bit cheese. I assume the guy would have started with the same weapon and everything like that. I don't think it would affect the playstyle, really. You're just doing it for the cosmetic or whatever. Adventurous tale. You'd open the character screen. Like, you're picking up so many different fucking things. Which, to be fair, I don't think these are really different. Like, oh, they introduced new microtransaction currencies and stuff like that. I think it's all the same stuff. I remember getting those gems and stuff. Max HP 912, level 1 out of 20. Attack 41, defense 57, elemental mastery 0, max stamina 100. A traveler from another world who had their only kin taken away, forcing them to embark on a journey to find the 7. Level up to improve character stats. Select experience materials. I'll just leave all that stuff for now. Weapons are, yeah, let's not do it here though, in like enemy territory, whether we get respawns or not. I don't know to what extent that matters. The durable feather, normally I would read all that stuff, but I don't have that kind of time right now, I guess. So the whole wet thing obviously would mean like, oh, you'll take more damage from electricity or something. You can just pick that shit up. Another mod, yeah, I have quite a few mods, and none of them are ever expected to do anything because, you know, it's not like I have a very active chat or anything that I need to ban people or something. Yeah, that could be an auto, like, mod condition. Anybody who's 2,000 plus in chess is automatically deserves to be a mod. Which we don't have too many of those people here, but you're the only one who stays? What do you mean stays? Oh shit, we're already at the town though. That's not fair. So we could just literally blow off Paimon altogether. The no Paimon speedrun strat. But no, I think I just wandered around here a bit and just sort of, you know, killed everything. Maybe killed it over and over a bit. Maybe farmed a bit. It's very visually and like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like very aesthetically satisfying. Just the little sounds when you pick stuff up and how quick everything is. Sometimes little things like that are going to matter a lot over the course of the playthrough. You don't have to like go inside a menu to do it. You're always here. Even in my nightmares. I should be about as good as he was. No, I'm still not, though. That's the problem. Like, see, my weakness is that everything is so difficult for me. Like, I make it difficult because I don't have those fundamental things to lean on. So there are times where I can play really well, but I get like a headache because I'm stressing so hard and calculating to such a degree. Like, everything is very just calculation heavy, and I don't know. Yeah, nice shot there, dude. What the fuck? Animation really looks like it goes farther than it does, bro. I'm sure I have plenty of healing item capabilities here, but kind of cheese too. He doesn't get a very good iframe thing. You can just unlock the clown. Character experience. I almost want to do it just purely by leveling up, but I'm letting myself get lower than I need to. How long have you known? At least almost 8 months or something? I can't remember. Nowhere near as long as you, yeah. It's at least been like 6 months, I think. So let's see, what happens if I do just like a dashing slice? Will that be some sort of special animation? Like if I go in with this? Seems almost the same. This seems a little bit too cheese, how you can just stun them like that. I always like to kind of just tap it there.
I'll keep this close.
So you could obviously use all these experience items, but I kind of want to see what happens if I just don't do that. Like if I try to just level up from simply killing stuff and doing it manually. These are like the souls in Dark Souls where like you always wonder like why the fuck did they even give you those? You kill an enemy and it gives you a soul. Like they gives you X number of souls. But like why not just give me this thing outright? And I guess that's because you can do it in a certain way that I don't know how to explain it. Like if you die, you can spam them all together or you can save them for a certain time. But it is kind of like a weird mechanic to do it that way, where they just give you a lump sum of experience to use on demand. You're a lot longer. 1 month, 11 days. Well, that's just because that's not his main account, obviously. Or his original account. I need like a better position. My arm always hurts when I'm doing this one. I've changed my setup like 3 times in like 3 months now because I've just been so all over the place. That's why it's good to have a gaming laptop, because you can fucking move around so much. Slime condensate. I wish you could scroll down and read it there, but it doesn't work like the mouse wheel. I think we cleared out basically everything. Let me just make sure though. And I don't know whether the enemies come back or not. Yeah, how did it take me like 4 hours the last time actually just to do this? Because I'm already seeing the town. I guess I was like reading the flavor text and stuff a little bit more than what I'm doing here, but it still shouldn't have taken that long. I'm even kind of clowning myself for how slow paced I am. Or there must be like another bigger area here that you can explore. Or what I was doing is a lot of parkour type BS. Like I was trying to climb the mountains and let's go up there and do weird shit like that. You can kind of underestimate how far your stamina will carry you, because it doesn't take that much when you're climbing compared to running or something. I probably picked up like every single item, and I can be very anal and completionist like that, but I kind of like when I do that because that shows you like I'm really taking my time and getting immersed in something. Although, you know, sometimes you just don't have the time to do that, obviously. So adventure rank 2, but that's not level, is it? Let me see. Level 1, I don't really get how what that means then. Adventure rank versus level. For like 2 years, which is interesting because that's almost as long as I've been around for. Yeah, like I've only been streaming from end of 2021, so it's only been about 2 years and a couple months. So he's been here, yeah, almost the whole time. That means. What do you mean you're exchanging accounts? Oh, I've been exchanging. Yeah, it's obviously a different one. Yeah. The enemies don't really seem to respawn too much here. Or did I even... Yeah, I went in there and I was looking at my inventory and stuff. Yeah, this game feels like an MMO that isn't actually an MMO. Or somehow, like I said, they almost tricked me into thinking it's not. This is the ultimate cheese that I really feel bad for even doing. That's the amount that you can spam the shit out of it. Give me some diminishing returns, dude. I don't even have any abilities yet, and I'm already fucking CCing the shit out of them. I think you can just destroy it too.
A reward on the road.
Or she has all these voice lines always to comment on what's happening, which is nice. See, we wouldn't be able to hear that cutesy little voice if we had to, if we picked the other character. These enemies have no poise, dude. One of the most revolutionary mechanics in gaming history, courtesy of the Dark Souls series. Just the idea that you can either resist or be more susceptible to knockbacks and stuff like that. It's something that most games just don't even think about. So many mechanics like that can just be exploited so easily. You know, no matter how strong or weak something is, it'll just get stunned or knocked back the same way. That is a very rare thing for games to even think about. Your mod on your main also. Or, well, only on your main, because I shouldn't really do that, where I'm modding people's alts as well. It's pointless. Yeah, here's the big thing. That's amazing, dude. How many years has it been? Like, I don't know when this game came out, but this is that view. This is the classic Red Ridge Mountains looking over the fucking thing into the fort. Although this is a friendly town that you're looking at, but that moment's always great. Like, you're looking over to the... he's even doing an idle animation. You're looking over to the Orc Fortress from, like, Lakeshire or whatever, and it's like, oh, there's the adventure to come that I'm... You know, one day I'll be strong enough to go kill those elite orcs in this fortress, by which I mean tomorrow, because I'm a no-life clown who plays all day every day, and whatever, it's not that big of a deal, but still. Whispering Woods. Yeah, that must have been, like, closer to when the game came out, obviously, that I would have played it. And I don't know why, and I only played it once, and it's just, see, it's not even a slight against the game to say that, oh, I played it one time and then I never played it again. It just means, like, I don't have time, or I'm not making, like, a dedicated series out of it. It doesn't mean I even disliked it. Are these even... Oh, these are just the little slimes. Which don't really seem all that threatening to you. I mean, we have so much base HP, we haven't even needed to heal or anything. I was hoping we would just level up and it would auto-heal me that way. Let's make sure we didn't miss any enemies here. Like, let's pretend create our own little unlock condition. In order to do this stupid Paimon thing, we should have to kill every enemy in this whole area. But the problem with that is that I don't know whether they respawn or not to possibly cause you a problem there. Ooh, nice. Wait. That sounds so familiar. What is that song? That's nice. Why did I just suddenly start there? Must be a song they stole from Zelda. Everything is a Breath of the Wild reference. I can't believe I still haven't played that. That shows you how much I like to just wait for a rainy day. But that could have been like, oh, I'll wait till the sequel comes out, Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom, before I play it. But then I still didn't play it. It's like it's just going to be such a special experience that I don't want to... I don't know. I'm just waiting for it. Especially nowadays that I don't have time to do stuff anymore. Or I'll just make it where I completely upend my schedule and it's like I still stream every day, but even if I stream for a short period of time. So then I'll say like all 7 days are just open and I don't have a fixed thing that I do. So I'll just do the same thing 7 days a week. Like, so if I did a series like that, I would just play Breath of the Wild every day. So it's like one continuous series. Because there's no other way I could really enjoy something when I take my time with it, to other than play it that much. Oh, not bad. I swear I remember some fire spell, or maybe I was just imagining it. Surely you can use magic in this game.
Ooh, did you just feel the elements of the world? Seems all you had to do was just touch the statue and you got the power of Animo. As much as they may want it, people in this world can never get a hold of powers as easily as you.
I think I know why. It's because this can't be good.
It's because you're not from this world to begin with. If we keep heading west from here, we'll eventually reach Mondstadt, the city of freedom.
Is that not the one we're looking at in the background, or is that just some little shitty one on the way? Did you achieve anything you wanted to? Not really.
Mondstadt is the city of wind because they worship the god of Animo. So perhaps because you got power from the god of Animo, you can find some clues there. There are also lots of bards there, so perhaps one of them has heard news of your brother. Let's move then. The elements in this world responded to your prayers, and Paimon thinks that's a lovely sign.
Press E to unleash something. Elemental skill. And I'm burning myself to death. That I did get full healed, whether it's because of leveling up or something, I don't know. Hold E to charge skills for power. I don't get what how it determines what the skill exactly is though. Q. Elemental burst. Wait, what is going on?
These are the animal powers you got from the Statue of the Seven.
What is the fire one though? Q is like...
So jealous. Why doesn't Paimon get cool fighting powers?
Okay, Q is what? Or you have to get it from... You have to get it from fighting or something somehow. Those are just work pretty much. And drive a lot, because I always have to drive pretty far. Okay, E is what? E is not fire, so what the fuck is the fire one? D to view unchecked tutorials. Okay, I don't really care. That prompt's probably never gonna go away. Oh shit, I don't remember that.
There's something huge in the sky.
Yeah, we can see it, dude.
Towards the heart of the forest. We must proceed with caution.
And the UI is okay. Like, there's still a little bit of shit on the screen, but sometimes these games can bombard you with way too much of that shit. Or just, like, all these prompts and waypoints and everything is too much. Hand-holding in modern gaming. Or even just the fact of, what do you call it? Like how when you first enter a game, it'll give you, like, a million prompts of stuff. Like, you're not going to want to read all that shit. Hard games are especially bad for that. Like, you log in, daily bonus 2 million, this and that from like Yu-Gi-Oh games always do that. This guy looks like he's gonna explode or something. These weren't here before, were they? raw meat. I haven't really worried about any of the shit that we're getting right now. And gonna be slow paced enough as it is without having to worry about that. I don't know how much encumberment and stuff we have to worry about. I feel like Q did something to do with fire, but I don't get how or why. These are both to do like with the wind. Because that's obviously what the whole theme of this area is, as if the windmills wouldn't give that away. I haven't done like a really long stream in a while though. It's kind of sad actually to do a 24-hour Genshin or I wouldn't even be able to do that. Like a 12-hour Genshin Impact stream now, just stay up all night, but I won't be able to do that either. I guess you take for granted, like when I used to do those every day, like it's no big deal. 6 to 8 hours, like it's nothing. I don't see how people would normally do that if they, you know, like aren't streaming for a living. So that is kind of a rare exception. I guess we would just go towards the town anyway. Part of the forest. Can you play? I can't. Actually, I guess I could, maybe. What time is that? It's kind of too late, though. I could play like one game of it, maybe. Let's see. Or I'll have to download it, too.
Don't be afraid. It's all right now. I'm back. Is he talking to a dragon? Who's there?
Could have been a good first boss battle, but they'll leave us hanging.
That was close. Paimon almost got blown away.
Yeah, I can't keep everything downloaded like that because
Luckily, Paimon managed to grab hold of your hair. Thanks.
I don't have space. Speaking of which, this game is like 200 gigs by itself, so of course, how would I be able to always do that? Good thing you didn't pull my hair out. Good thing the dragon didn't notice. It did seem to notice us.
What's that? Paimon thought we were gonna get eaten. It definitely has something to do with that weirdo who was talking to the dragon.
You definitely know you're either cute or a villain when she's gonna be the sleeper final boss of the game, Paimon, when you refer to yourself in third person by your own name. Can't believe dragons exist in this world. Is talking to dragons normal?
Of course not. Oh, what's that?
I do have external hard drives, but that's more so to save my VODs and stuff like that. I don't like to use it to actually play stuff on.
There's some kind of shiny red thingy on the big rock over there. Let's go take a closer look.
I have like 6 of them actually because
Be careful.
it's hard to find ones that are that big. So I have like 5 different ones that are 8 gigabytes and one that's like 16 gigabytes. It's like a whole fucking mess. So each one is like for a couple months worth of VODs.
Paimon's never seen a stone like this before, so Paimon can't tell what it is. All Paimon knows is that it's dangerous. Best we put it away for now. Okay, we've got it. Now let's get out of here.
Make a drinking game out of a drink every time she refers to herself as Paimon, and double it every time she does it twice in the same sentence. Adventure rank 3, but my level is only level... Oh no, now I'm level 3 as well. I don't get it. Before I was adventure rank 2, but I was only level 1.
Hey, you! Stop right there! May the Animo God protect you, stranger. I am Amber, outrider for the Knights of Favonius.
Oh yeah, and they show all these like ads or prompts or something for like, oh, there's this new character now. Does that mean that's just a new character in the game, or does it mean that that's like a character you get to play as, or does it mean you get to like add them to your party? Like they show it in such a way, I don't know where I've seen this, like either like actually an ad or something, like introducing these two new characters, but like why is that a gameplay mechanic that they'd be showing off? 2 terabyte, that's nothing.
You don't look like citizens of Mondstadt. Explain yourselves.
But I guess for your own personal use, it's not bad.
We're not looking for trouble. That's what all the troublemakers say. Doesn't sound like a local name to me. And this mascot, what's the deal with it?
For friends, emergency food. Yeah, that's how we want to treat her.
Hey, that's even worse than being a mascot. So to sum it up, you're traveling partners, right? Well, look, there's been a large dragon sighted around Mondstadt recently. Best you get inside the city as soon as possible. It's not far from here. I'll escort you there.
Oh, aren't you out here for some other reason?
I am, but not to worry. I can keep you both safe while doing that too.
I don't remember actually her escorting me there. I just remember
I'm still not sure if I can trust you two just yet.
going there myself. That's a rude way to speak to guests.
Oh, I'm sorry. Probably not something I should say as a knight. I give you my apologies, strange yet respectable travelers.
That sounded so fake.
Do you have something against the type of language usage prescribed by the Knights of Favonius Handbook?
He's actually a pretty well-written character.
Amber, reporting for duty.
Dude, what does this
If
mean?
you ever need my help.
I don't get it. Do I get to play as you, or... Ew. That'd be sick if you can just do that at will. As an archer, Amber is ideal for taking out targets from a distance. Oh, shit. I didn't know that this was even a thing. Oh, wow. Try attacking the Anemo slime. Just like that. They just introduced a mechanic that major.
Suspicious travelers. What are you doing in Mondstadt?
She got separated from her brother during a really, really long journey. Paimon is her travel buddy, helping her to find her brother.
Oh, looking for your family? Huh. Okay, let me finish my other stuff first, and then I can help you put up posters around the city.
What exactly is it you need to finish doing first?
It's simple. You'll understand in a bit.
Yeah, I don't think the posters are going to help since they're in like another dimension or whatever the fuck happened at the beginning. What do you mean nothing? Well, just in the context of, I guess, what I'm used to, where you have like 2-3 years of VODs where it's like even 100 terabytes isn't enough, but that's not normal human behavior, I guess, to worry about. You have it on your PS5. What, your external drive? So here, I'll make a rule though. So we had to do that just for the tutorial, but here's one of the rules of the playthrough. And on top of it being obviously first playthrough permadeath, I can't switch out in the field. So whoever I go into a town with, I can switch then. Like I go into a safe zone or like a town, then I can switch. But when I leave the town, then I have to stay as them until I come back or go to another safe zone. So that'll make it feel more like a commitment. So technically that switch doesn't count. That was just done for the tutorial.
On the road.
So obviously we'll try her out later, but yeah, let me see if I can download it. We'll end off in the same situation, anticlimactic, but at least I kind of speed ran it a little bit. But no, this game is actually awesome. I didn't realize it was this good with the whole character switching thing, and you get these pretty sick abilities. I don't know why the Q was like that though. Like how I was able to do it so many times before, and what was giving me like the fire animation. I'm so confused by that. We'll end off in exactly the same spot as last time, and maybe never play it again for another couple years. Like we do that with so many series where I just leave them hanging. Lawrence, Knight of Favonius, Juan, and I like the commitment to voice acting, obviously, that they do. Or yeah, it is kind of like Knight in the game to mirror the fact of, you know, how does it work as far as saving it or whatever. I'll consider that fair to quit there, not just out in the open, because I get to, yeah, why don't you dox my fucking email? I'll consider that fair because you're at least quitting in a town. Right, but it seems like you could just do that anywhere. But yeah, that was the one category I was doing for these whatever Wednesdays return, where like I just do whatever random categories I feel like that aren't normally part of my schedule, which I'm just doing this kind of temporarily in between whatever my next permadeath multiplayer gauntlet thing is going to be, which I guess could be War Thunder with the permadeath vehicles, but no, it's supposed to be like Smite. I said it's going to be the next one, but I did 2 just chatting streams, so that was kind of a rarity. And then I did chess last week, which was stupid because I do that obviously on a regular schedule anyway, but I was doing that just to kind of catch up and get to 1400 rating. Like, that's really a good goal. And then obviously on the chess, though, inflated as it might be. And then this week, obviously, I just did Genshin, so I can try to go a little bit longer. And because of what a pain it was to actually download that, I almost should do again. I should do it again after this. I'll play like 1 game of this just for the sake of it. I will do a permadeath for vehicle's sake, because it's not like I'm going to play it that much anyway. But it won't really matter because whatever, it just gives me an excuse to try like different vehicles and stuff. Let's see how long this actually takes to download. I got baited by that stupid regimental chest thing. Deliver us to the moon is still on there. The back rooms. I don't really get that back rooms craze. Why everybody is so obsessed with it. Scholar's Mate, more like Scholar's Bait, because it was supposed to be a scary game, but it's just kind of trash. And I only played it because it had something to do with chess. Like, I was looking for a very unique thing for Halloween. I was looking for a game to play that's like a chess horror game. But what better version of that than just chess itself? Because it's such a horror to actually play it and take it seriously. Where is that? Whoa, it's 51 gigs though. I'm not gonna have room with all this shit. Why is every game so big nowadays? But see, even this kind of puts other games to shame. Why should a game involving vehicles and jets and planes and boats and all this kind of crazy shit, why should that be bigger or smaller than like NBA 2K, where you're just dribbling a basketball up and down the same court over and over? Like, this is so much more ambitious and it has so much more going on. Oh, this is gonna take all night. I don't even think I can do this. Holy shit, it's like an hour download. Damn. I guess I could, you know what, let's maybe do that. I'll do it just, if I have the energy, I'll let it download and I'll do a just chatting segment like I was doing the other one, since this is meant to be a multi-category thing anyway. I don't think I can even play it. Well, this is gonna be a long ass fucking time though. Fuck. Well, I'll try anyway. Let's see. I gotta come up with some good topics. Or you know what we should do is like relive my time as a sports podcaster, where I did that 1 week where I actually talked about like only sports. And so what it turns into here is I could try to do that here for like a day or whatever. My 1 day as a sportscaster. There were some really good debates and subjects. It's like the whole obsession that people have with these shows like Undisputed or ESPN First Take or whatever, where I guess chess even counts into that. I had a great debate with the Hans Niemann cheating scandal and the guy, what was the Russian guy's name? The dude who got banned for his political views and whatever, the Russian player, Karjakin. So basically, it's like, I was very much on the side that shouldn't be a thing that, you know, it's not fair to him. Like, he's a great player, so let him play. That has nothing to do with whatever other views and things he has. I hate he hates himself. Okay. Yeah, will you still be here in an hour and a half? Because that's when it'll be done. Otherwise, I can't believe it's taking this long even. It was probably because I'm streaming, honestly. Okay, let me try to open something up and then figure out how to do this. I've definitely lost my touch when it comes to formats like this, like just doing some, because I would never go in with like a script or whatever, but you need some sort of itinerary to still work with. Oh, look at that. It went down from 24K viewers to 18K viewers. That must be because of me, obviously, from when I started streaming it like an hour ago. Sleep matters more. The snail never sleeps. But yeah, this will be me trying to like relive that. It was a week many years ago when I had my debate format still going, and I would just, for whatever reason, one week I was like, fuck it, let's just talk about only sports this week, and it actually was pretty cool. So I could rehash some of my takes from that. The main sport that I know a lot about is obviously basketball and the NBA. I just know a lot about the history, and I've always found it interesting, and just I don't even necessarily watch it a ton, but there are a lot of good debate topics there. But like, okay, since the Super Bowl is coming up, I don't know much, fuck all about the NFL, but just the Chiefs are in it again. They've been obviously very good. They've been in like 4 of the last 5 or whatever. So it's the Chiefs versus the 49ers. I think it's a rematch from the one a couple years ago, right, where they played the 49ers. So, I mean, you would probably assume the Chiefs would win. Everybody's got Mahomes, obviously a hard on for him. They give you so much time in between those. I always find that weird. But like these are only like a week apart, but they always give you extra here. And it's right before Valentine's Day, so if the Chiefs win, that means that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, that's the one real headline that everybody's obsessed with. Just the Taylor Swift shenanigans, everybody's getting triggered that the NFL is showing Taylor Swift more than the actual game because they keep cutting to her in the broadcast and stuff like this, which is hilarious that everybody's getting mad about it. But yeah, then she's gonna write a song how I broke up with Travis Kelce because he didn't win the Super Bowl or something. Always the meme with her and breaking up with people and making songs about it. You now have a cat. Guns should be banned in America, just overall. But yeah, so I would probably say the Chiefs would win. And they lost. In fact, that might be their only Super Bowl loss in this whole Mahomes era, is the one where they got destroyed by Tampa Bay and fucking Tom Brady. Although that was more because of the defense. Somehow they just held them to like 9 points. That's one thing I always make fun of with the NFL is like the officiating. Like, how the fuck do you officiate? Like, think about with some sports, like, oh, basketball, if you make contact or a certain amount, okay, it's a foul or whatever, you can't hit people in certain places. With the NFL, the whole point of the game is to make contact. You're constantly making contact. Like, at what point do you draw the line? Like, oh, he fouled him because he tackled him. Oh, wait, no, that's the point of the fucking game, is to tackle everybody every play. That's the one thing I've never liked about it, is it becomes so subjective. Oh, it's a face mask. Oh, it's like, it's just dumb. And it's so like complicated and technical to the point where I'm surprised it's even been as popular as it is. Like, they spend more time historically setting up for a play than actually playing. Like, they'll set up for a play for like 2 minutes, and then they'll set up their formation, then they'll do a thing. They probably made changes to innovate that and make it faster paced, but like, then they'll just do a quick play, run a few yards, and get tackled. Like, so you're spending more time watching them set up, do this kind of shit over and over. So I've always been so surprised by the fact that people even like it. He'll be back, okay. Yeah, I've never been a fan of that. The two sports that I always said, like, if I was to watch them, I would always enjoy like tennis or basketball because they're at least fast paced. Tennis, you're constantly doing a volley back and forth, so that's just like very quick, very to the point. Or like basketball, you're going up and down the court and you're gonna either score or not score within 24 seconds every time. Football can just drag out for super long times where you don't do anything, or again, they're spending more time in between plays. And then what else? Like, baseball can be very slow that way too. And then cricket is even worse because they can just go on for days somehow, I feel like. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's just like maybe even a slower version of baseball. NRL is greater than the NFL. I don't know what that even is. You play cricket. AO just happened. Australian Open. Yeah, tennis is pretty badass just because of the pace of it. Yeah, what are some good... So yeah, I'd pick the Chiefs if I had to, but I don't know much about the NFL overall. It's like everybody got upset about that. Like you know, quarterbacks are always the face of the thing and a figurehead, and like they get too much attention and too much credit. So it's like I don't even know who the quarterback is for the 49ers. And so it's like Brady Quinn or whatever, or Brock Purdy or whatever. Brady Quinn, Brock Purdy, I think. But the point is that whoever has a better quarterback is probably going to win, because that's just how it works in this era, at least, or whatever, is how people perceive it. People always talking about Tom Brady, this and that. Like, it doesn't feel like teams are going to win just, oh, they have a good defense or they just have some other element. It's just everything's obsessed with the quarterback. So if you're going to bet on that basis, you should bet that Mahomes is obviously going to be better. Watch some NRL. I mean, you probably would get banned for it because you can't show like that. But yeah, that would be my thing. And then obviously everybody's going to be either rooting for or against, make it even more normie than usual, where, you know, the normies are going to watch the Super Bowl just for the commercials, but also they're going to watch it now for Taylor Swift, because she should give the halftime concert too, because that's all the storylines are going to be about. People either getting triggered by Taylor Swift's presence there, or people being fans of it just for that reason. Why would you get banned? Like, you can't show stuff on stream like that, or unless you're XQC or somebody who just doesn't give a shit and watches the full season of MasterChef. So the Lakers are shit. Let's look at some NBA type stuff. Like, I always rehash my takes whenever I play like NBA 2K, some of my old school ones, but like, what are some of my modern things? Like, that's kind of a good line. Like Kawhi Leonard saying, my friend made this as a joke in like a comment. What was it, like Kawhi saying injuries are God's way of making it fair for everyone else, because whenever he's healthy, pretty much except for that bubble year where they're up 3-1 on the Nuggets and they fucked that up, but other than that, whenever he's healthy, you're pretty much gonna win. Like how he just goes to the Raptors and just wins the first year there. It would have been so epic if he did win the next year in the bubble, whatever, with his first year with the Clippers. So he would have been first year with the Raptors, he wins, then he leaves. First year with the Clippers, he wins. Like, it was perfectly set up. You can't blame a guy for injuries, but like, you can't show a game, at least, right? If I'm watching the game, I can't actually show it like on stream if I am doing like a react content to it. Although there's so many channels that do that, like Flight Reacts or Oprah Side or whoever some of these people are who do that. And there's been so many high scoring games this year, so people would say, oh, defense wins championships. Also, you get like 4 70-point games or 60-point games in like a month. Not saying the two are always at odds with each other, but, or this could be like a controversial take that like Kobe struggled early in his career a little bit, at least at times. Like, he got shut down by the Pistons in 2004 finals and stuff like that. And so it's only when defense started to soften up and they started to move towards these newer sort of rules where it is more offense focused that finally he started to really shine. So maybe he needed that, or maybe that sort of carried him a little bit. Not that he really needed it to be a good player, but like to be what we think of him as now. No hand checking anything. NRL. Yeah, I don't know what it even is. NRL is a short piece of NRL history. National Rugby. Oh, rugby. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about it though. Has to watch, passing game. The one thing I know about cricket is Don Bradman's god level status of his completion percentage or whatever, where his accuracy is just way above anybody else. It's like 99.9, to the point where it's just one of the most mind-boggling impressive statistics ever, because nobody's even close to that, no matter how you want to try to discredit it. It's always like that. Like with Will Chamberlain, I always have that discussion, like, oh, well, he played against plumbers and firefighters, but like whatever made them, whatever disadvantages they would have had, he would have had too, right? Whatever, worse nutrition, worse health conditions, injury protocol, whatever, worse understanding of the game, worse training protocol, not making as much money, ripped up broken sneakers. Like, so he had to overcome all that. So, you know, you can only be measured against your peers. So everybody else played in the same circumstance against the same people with the same advantages and disadvantages. So you don't get to just say like this clown take of like, oh, haha, what if modern people with all their modern advantages could use a time machine and go back then? Because you wouldn't be the same as what you are now if you were exposed to that too. So it doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, look at this shit, dude. 99.94. The next is 61. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Oh, it's because of the era he played in. Yeah, but why the fuck didn't anybody else take advantage of the era then? The only reason why this guy was 61 instead of 40 then was because of the era. So, like, how do you discredit that based on that? Right? Your greatness is always measured next to your peers, so that's always such a stupid argument. Reluctant hero. Rugby is a better version of the NFL. Well, I wouldn't even argue that because I don't really care for either one. Like, I don't care, but it doesn't matter. Or like, is cricket a better version of baseball? Even though that's always what I heard about it. It's just a slower version of baseball. Or here's a funny thing. Rajon Rondo, he gets arrested for possessing a gun, right? So then my friend's like, he always does these comments. After taking a closer look at him, the police saw this guy's not a shooter and let him go because he always struggled with his jump shot. So in the gun sense, literally, this guy would never shoot anybody. He can't shoot for shit. The Cavs, the Lakers. I always liked him a lot early in his career, but then he turned into a bit of a clown. If he had just stayed with Boston and compiled stats, he could have been up there with, you know, whatever, Jason Kidd or somebody in assists, but he just couldn't maintain it. That's funny. Test records. So yeah, this is the one thing I know about cricket. Bucks got Doc Rivers, so everybody's clowning them because he blew a 3-1 lead so many times. But I would kind of defend him a little bit. This would be like one of my nuanced type of takes, but he even made the argument for me. Like, the Pistons were like the number 1 seed, and that's the year they won the championship. So for him to blow a 3-1 lead, it's like, why the fuck is he even up 3-1 against them, right? He must have been doing something amazing to get there. So if he just got swept, nobody would even be talking about it. So that is kind of fair. Like, sure, he has some negative records, but... And I never thought he was as great as people said. Like, he's living off the one championship in 2008 for like, oh wow, that's his whole career, his whole legacy is just based on that. But then again, I'm the same guy who praises Larry Brown so much, and he only won the one title in 2004. But it's just like the way he did things was so good. Like, he proved he was better than Phil Jackson, because Phil Jackson has a prime Kobe and a prime Shaq, right? 2 of the best players ever, top 5, top 10, whatever. And Larry Brown has like maybe a couple of the top 50 players who are only considered that because they won that very same championship that very same year. And so at that point, they wouldn't even be considered that. And none of those guys won or had success or made it to finals without him. Just like Allen Iverson didn't make it to a finals any other time. So I hate when people say that, like, oh, Iverson carried the fucking 76ers in 2001 to the finals. But if all it took to make it to the finals was, oh, he's just carrying you, then why didn't he make it any other year when he had other better players and Carmelo and the Nuggets and all these other years? He could only do it that year because Larry Brown was there and his defense was so good and all these things that go sort of underappreciated. So it's like people only really care when you have like big offensive stars and big names like that. But he's like the common denominator. Iverson only made Nuggets are tasty. He only made a finals with Larry Brown, Billups and Ben Wallace and Tayshaun Prince and Rip Wallace and all these players. Only, I think Rasheed won with the Celtics later, but basically most of them never even made it to a finals again without him. So he's always the common denominator, and he destroys with that seemingly inferior talent, supposedly the better coach in Phil Jackson. So that's where he just proves it so clearly there that he's just better. And people will even say, okay, see you later. And people will say, I'm just basically doing this even to stall, but I guess it's a good excuse. It's like, it's just sort of fun to debate it because it doesn't really piss anybody off, right? Like, not the way that religion or politics or stuff like that. Like, it's not really serious, so it doesn't matter. That's why these shows do so well. Like I was saying, First Take and Undisputed or whatever. People love getting all passionate and up in arms about it, but nobody really cares. It's just a fucking sport. Like, it doesn't really affect your life one way or another. That's why that was one of the weakest, dumbest quotes ever by LeBron, where he's like, after the 2011 finals, it's like, everybody has to go back to their lives regardless, one way or another, right, to try to justify the loss. Like, whatever that quote was. But it's so moronic because, like, even if you win, people still have to go back to their lives and their jobs. So, like, why do we even watch you in the first place then? Okay, we won't care, right? He's just doing that, like, he's salty, like, oh, these people are hating on me and making fun of my bad performance in 2011. So they have to go back to their regular lives. Like, yeah, so then we shouldn't care about sports at all because, and you shouldn't make any money from it because whether you win or lose, we have to go back to our regular lives. Like, it's the biggest cop-out dumb thing to say. So the Warriors and the Lakers are both kind of out of it. And the Warriors had some dumb statement like, what do you call it? I always just see these things in like my suggested or something. So it's like I know a lot more than what I actually watch or care about. Like I don't watch anything, but what do you call it? The Warriors were like, oh, we're not gonna. They released like some statement like we won't trade Clay or Draymond unless you give the okay to Steph. So they're almost gonna try to throw him under the bus and blame him like, oh, he's the reason why. And if I was him, I would get rid of fucking Draymond in a second. But the question is, who can you even get for him? There's going to be some ironic resurgence of Ben Simmons, where it's like Ben Simmons was such a clown and a joke for so long that nobody would have wanted him and whatever. Now he's going to actually turn out to be good. So if you had traded Draymond for Ben Simmons a couple years ago, maybe now it would have, well, but then you wouldn't have won in 22 because you still needed Draymond for that. But now it'll be that, oh, that would have actually been good, as much of a clown move as it might have seemed at the time, like several years back. So it's good to at least see Ben come back, but I don't really get, he didn't really have a good reason for being gone in the first place. It's not really an injury issue, it's more like a mental thing, just he wasn't ready or whatever. People have been trashing Devin Booker a little bit because like, oh, he had all these high scoring games and losses, so therefore he must be, oh, he's selfish or something like that. But that's always such a clown thing. Like Kobe would always have those big games where, oh, he'd score a lot, but he would lose or whatever. Like the year he scored 81, his team was doing pretty bad, average like 35 a game. So sometimes when you do that, it's because you have to carry the load, or it's because of like, if you're shooting over 50%, which he obviously always does, like he's 17 for 23 and you still lose or something like that. Like it's so stupid to blame a player like that for doing it. Or like that's the same thing when people call Wilt selfish, like, oh, he averaged 50 points, but he's shooting over 50%. And sure, a center should do that. Bill Russell says hello because he shot like 40 something. Paul George made some comment clowning him, like, how the fuck does a center shoot 44%? And then people see, I don't use the eras either as a positive or a negative. People will be like, oh, it's okay because the era they played in. But no, it's not okay because Wilt shot higher, other centers shot higher percentages than that. So that's no excuse. Bob Pettit, or he was more like a forward even, but still. But they don't shoot lower. So, centers big should always shoot at least 50%. So it's not that you get an excuse for that because of the era, but nor do you get to diminish them because of the era. Or like that's always the best thought experiment to use for Wilt. Wilt later in his career, when he had suffered some injuries and he was with the Lakers and he was trying to be more like a supporting star where he would put up like 17 points a game but be very efficient and like whatever, still be a rebounder. So he was focusing more on defense and rebounding and not being as much of a scorer. He would play against a prime Kareem, Lou Alcindor, on the Bucks, and he would often play him to a standstill or at least be very competitive with him. So that means a non-prime Wilt could match or be at least competitive with a prime Kareem. So unless you think Kareem isn't a worthy modern player, and he was playing against plumbers too and whatever, which obviously people wouldn't say that because of how much they have respect for the 80s and Jordan and Showtime and all these things, then what that means is if a later career Wilt, who wasn't the best version of himself, could match or be competitive with Kareem in his prime, then obviously in Wilt's prime, he could be a beast and he would even dominate Kareem or anybody because, that validates him. It's not like Wilt didn't play against anybody good or even who's considered good in this sort of narrow, modern kind of point of view. But that's almost the ultimate validation sometimes. I feel like there's some other analogy I use with that outside of sports. Like when you compare somebody to someone from the when you compare somebody from the past to somebody in the present, that shows you that you've already lost the argument because it's like, in other words, you can't discredit them and how great they were. So you have to discredit the whole time they played in, or you have to somehow make some sort of unfair argument. Like, oh, it's not enough to compare them to other people who played then. You have to compare them to people who play now, which makes no sense because that's not fair. You wouldn't do that with anybody else. So as kind of an acknowledgement of their greatness. I use that same analogy with something else, but I can't remember what it was. It was something that's like not related to, well, like even with chess players, though, you could say that, like, oh, how good would Paul Morphy be today? But if he had access to all the theory and the books and the studies that you have today, of course he'd be vastly better, or at least then you could have a fair discussion. How is it fair to compare him now and say, oh, Paul Morphy was picking on all these simpletons, but who was he? Like, where did he come from? Did he come from Mars or outer space where they had advanced chess theory? No, he was the same, born in the same time as everybody else. So whatever set him apart is hit to his credit, right? Unlike what you would have today, where at least it's a level field where everyone has access to the same theory. So, you have to measure people based on that, like the resources available, the means argument that I always talk about. Oh, what else is interesting? I mean, I guess chess constitutes a sport, so you can always use that too. The Giannis had a funny quote about the Pacers where he's talking about, we'll be thinking about them when we're on vacation, when we're this, when we're that, when we're getting freaky at night. We're always thinking about the Pacers. Like, we're not, like, you could do a mock-up with Iverson's quote, like, we're not thinking about practice, we're not thinking about a vacation or our lover or anybody like that. We're thinking about fucking, I could just go through my friend's quotes and just read them, like all these different YouTube comments that he has related to stuff like this, some of which is stolen from me, but a lot of it he just does on his fucking own. He does it, I swear, like ironically, like where he doesn't actually think it's funny, but he just makes fun of how stupid people are and the fact that they find it funny. It's kind of hard to explain, but they're about to lose to the Trailblazers. That's to beat the Suns in their sort of return. KD's probably first time playing there, or he was making a whole big thing about the tribute video. Like, I don't want a tribute video, but then they gave him one anyway. It's just hilarious. Everybody just gets one now. Like, at least when Kawhi goes back to Toronto or something, you have to do it there because he's just so, obviously he won you the championship in that first year, so you can't really say anything to him. This is going to take all fucking night. I don't know if I even want to do this. What are some other good topics here? Hard to just come up with stuff on the fly and adjust out in context. Never mind even this particular subject, just anything. Oh, they're talking about the 65 game rule. Players must reach a minimum games played 65 in order to be eligible for certain major end of award events. And like even Tyrese Halliburton, I think, is having some issue with that. Like, if he doesn't play at least 65 games, he's not able to get like his max contract or something, which is fair, I guess. But I mean, a circumstance like that is like the guy's not trying to miss games on purpose. Like, even when people make fun of Kawhi or Anthony Davis or somebody, it's like, do you really want, like, you really think they're just lazy and they don't want to play, or like they're not taking care of their health? Like, you can't help an injury when it happens or something like that. Or like even that's one of the hardest takes to have is this, when Kawhi left the Spurs, it's like, who was really at fault? The Spurs are always a good, classy kind of organization. They don't really have a bad track record, but also Kawhi doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would just be faking or, trying to force his way out. So it almost seems like it's a rare case where they were both in the right. Like, nobody's really wrong. And it's just like, maybe they didn't see, their doctors couldn't see what was wrong with him, but he's kind of been validated in retrospect too. Like, anytime something happens, he does get injured, he's always out, so it's not like he was exaggerating. He has an ongoing thing with injuries. And what's interesting with him is, like, normally when you see guys get injured so much like that, their play always declines, so then they become a shell of themselves and they're not good anymore. But with him, it's like, he's often injured, but whenever he does play, he's always just as good, right? He never seems to get any worse when he comes back from injury, which that's like a miraculous thing to have. You never see that. There's always some decline in play. There's always some problem with it. Or there's these people who do stream like fucking scoreboards. Like, they won't stream the game, but they'll stream the scoreboard and they'll just talk about that or something. There's all this, weird content to do with sports, in the same way that I make fun of people reacting to movies. Like, they'll do full movie reactions or something, or they'll show like all these clips from it and stuff, and I always hate that idea of like you're basically stealing the content, where you're relying more on that and like face cam, and oh, they want to see your facial reaction to when that one jump scare moment happens in the movie or something like that. It just makes it feel like it's so much about something else, like coming from a movie critic perspective, like where you have to actually give analysis and something a little bit deeper. It's no, like just surface level. People want to just live vicariously and do things like that. But yeah, what other good takes are there? What is this? National Basketball League. National Basketball League was a professional. I've never really seen this icon actually. Was a professional league established in 1937. Why is that logo so obscure? Like I've never seen that actually before. Huh. And then obviously that eventually becomes the ABA and then something else. Yeah, the Raptors are one of those teams that was just lucky to win that year, because you're never gonna fucking see that happen again. It's just one of those teams that's like so hard to, like, it's hard enough. Okay, he came from the Spurs, Kawhi, and it's like, oh, they're a small market team and they're never going to attract big stars. But it's even worse for Toronto because they're literally in a different country. That's one thing. Oh, you have to deal with moving out of state or something like that. But, and even he didn't want to be there. But all love between the Suns and the Nets. Everybody makes fun of Katie for being so sensitive about everything, which to some extent I don't think that's entirely fair. Like, oh, he'll read YouTube comments or respond to people on Twitter or something. It's like, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're sensitive. It just means that you're willing to have the conversation. But that's how people frame it. Like, you know, oh, he's so soft or something because of it. Yeah, that was one thing I said with LeBron, that I don't like how people are always like overly obsessive one way or the other, right? There'll be a lot of people who hate on LeBron just because he gets so much hype and media attention, but then there'll always be people who overrate him too, like how somehow it's like basically the fact that, what do you call it? Like they'll keep trying to change the goalpost of like, oh, this is what these talk shows do when it's on a 24/7 media cycle like this. Oh, is he the GOAT now? Like, what next thing how will this affect LeBron's legacy? Like the meme everybody talks about. How will, you know, if he wins one more ring, will he be the GOAT? If he wins, and you know, then they've been saying this for like a decade, so you keep hearing the same thing over and over and over, and it's like they're trying to force it too much. Like, whatever, let him end his career and then we can see. It's like when he passes Kareem for the all-time scoring record, people will use that like, oh, now he's the GOAT because of that, he's the all-time leading scorer, and that seems like a legitimate case to make. But the problem with that is those same people, and the majority of people overall and the media in general, never gave Kareem that credit, really, right? Kareem was always sort of forgotten about. Everybody was on Jordan, you know, obsessed with him. So it's not fair then to say, oh, all of a sudden now being like, that's the ultimate cuck job to Kareem, like where you say he had that record for decades and he never really got the full credit or attention for it, and now all of a sudden when LeBron gets it, oh, now he's a GOAT because of it. You completely just passed over Kareem just because he doesn't play the sexiest position or style of play, or he was boring, or the media didn't like him, or he was kind of rude to people sometimes, all these kind of superficial things that have nothing to do with it. But because of that, you get Bro thinks he's Stephen A. Smith, who's like the most histrionic, emotional kind of person that has nothing to do with actually making a good case. Like if I was compared myself to somebody, it'd be more like Max, because he was like always very like, what did he say? That's like so much like some of my lines from my debate format, where he's like statistics or records of events, like the way he would just try to defend when he would say, you know, oh, well, you're just throwing out analytics, you're just throwing out stats. But yeah, stats are just records of what happened. So that sounds like something exactly I would say. Or even like his take on Brady, like, oh, Brady's gonna fall off a cliff. Like that was a pretty safe take to make, where like nobody's ever done this before. Brett Favre, even like people who aged pretty well, normally past the age of 40 you're not going to do anything. So, and nobody's ever done it before. So if you were saying the opposite, that oh, he would still play really well and he would win a Super Bowl or something like that, it's easy to ridicule somebody for saying, oh, he's going to fall off a cliff. But like you could have said the same thing about Kobe, right? Like amnesty Kobe after he won the 2 titles in 2009 2010, right? And you would have technically been right because he was injured so much of the time that you would have been better off if you just traded him then at full value and got something else for it, right? But it's easy to say that at the time that like, oh, how dare how could you possibly say that? But that's normally what happens when players get older. But it's the same thing there. Like, it's not that unreasonable of a take to have. Even though it didn't turn out to be true, you would have banked on him doing the impossible or something that somebody's never done before. So you could have looked dumber if you said that, like, oh yeah, he's totally going to win the Super Bowl when he goes to Tampa Bay, or he's totally going to still be so good even when he's older. It's just far less likely. So it's easy to ridicule the one take, but then not to have the, why are you on fucking LinkedIn, dude? Not to have the only 16K followers, dude. How is that? And like, why do they feel the need to do that? Oh, it's like for job postings and stuff. But still, like, do people really take this stuff seriously? The time is always right to do what is right. But yeah, like that. I like that one bubble take I had. Just like, since everybody played in the bubble, you can't really discount what happened there one way or another. Like, it doesn't make it any harder or easier. LeBron has this kind of overly dramatic thing where he's like, oh, it's like a horror movie and winning there is like the biggest deal in the world. I wouldn't say that. I would say, again, it's neither a positive nor a negative. Everybody had to deal with it, so it's equal for everyone. It's not an advantage. It's not a disadvantage. The only arguable, so no matter who won, I know people hate on it. Oh, the Lakers, Mickey Mouse ring, this and that. But then it would have been the same no matter who won. So then, it's just the same. It means the same as it would have otherwise. Or what I would say there is like the fact that it would have hurt teams that would have had the better records, which would have included actually the Lakers or the Bucks or whoever. And the Bucks actually got upset by the Heat. Right, so maybe if the Bucks had home court, because there was no home court, because it's in the bubble, then it would have actually helped them win that series, or do some AFL. But I don't know anything about it. I guess I could read about it. I'm just kind of talking about random stuff, but no, it's like, it would have actually hurt the Lakers that year because they would have had home court, so they suffered from not having that. The way that, again, the Bucks lost arguably in part because of that. And then, yeah, I would have considered that equal. It's not a more impressive ring, but it's not really a less impressive ring either. And as somebody who had picked the Clippers, I always do those, like, I'll do one episode of NBA 2K every year just before the playoffs so I can make like predictions. So like, let's say I predicted that the Clippers would have won, right? So I can't really make an excuse. Nobody even got injured. They were up 3-1 against the Nuggets. They should have beat them. They should have beat the Lakers. So if they had done that, I would have, felt like that championship means just as much as any other one. But obviously, you have to admit when you're wrong there. So obviously, that still means something. When like everybody's playing in the same condition, it's hard to use that to discredit it. Learn about Australia. AFL. Australian Football League. And of course, this is like which definition of football is least accurate? Is it football in America where it's not football at all, where you're throwing the ball more with your hand more than you're ever kicking it, or this where it's kind of in between, right, where you can kind of do both, or the actual football where it's soccer, which actually makes sense because you're actually kicking it most of the time. But this is like rugby, right? Kind of. Or what even is it though? Because like I was watching a little bit of it, and it's like you can use both your hands and your feet. Drop Snook. Oh, can you say when the dawn's really light? Yeah, we got to do a little national anthem before the game starts, and we can refuse to stand up for it and make some sort of political point like Colin Kaepernick or something and get articles written about us. Meanwhile, Abdul Rauf got blackballed unfairly and ruined his career just because he did the same thing decades before. So his whole career is owed an apology, and he should be able to sue the league for like hundreds of millions of dollars that he would have made. Well, maybe not at that time, but still. AFL in Australia. Oakland Raiders? What are you talking about? Wait, what is this? AFL? Oh, this is American Football League. You got hijacked even there. Look how that's one of the first things that shows up, too. That's kind of lame. Yeah, nobody even, they don't even have a Wikipedia page. Is the preeminent and only fully professional competition of Australian rules football. Is originally named the Victorian Football League and was founded in 1896. Wow. As a breakaway competition from the Victorian Football Association with its inaugural season. That's actually really fucking old. I didn't realize. Most titles. I don't know. I just know more about this, so it's kind of more fun to discuss it. I guess I can learn about that though. Or like now that Sabrina Ionscu, or however you say her name, is going to play against the 3-point contest against Curry, which is kind of, it's nice that he's willing to do that, but I don't see how you can compare that because their lines at a different distance and everything like that. Although you would think, as much as people make fun of the WNBA, the NBA now resembles the WNBA more than it ever has because of the 3-point emphasis and all the kind of finesse element. So as much as people make fun of it, it's actually, they've moved closer to that style of play than ever before. And you would think that if there are certain things, regardless of physical advantages and so forth, if there are certain things that they could do just as well, female players, it would be shooting and passing and just like some of the skill things, dribbling. There's no reason why you couldn't be as good at that, right? Like even when you look at players who are shooters, like Curry doesn't look like the most physically imposing, athletic, impressive person that way. So why couldn't you do the same thing as a 6'2", 6'3" player, just practice shooting? In theory, at least, there's no reason why you couldn't be a great shooter and stuff like that. So technically, when it's just a skill thing like that, it is very comparable, right? Even if you're not going to be the same dunkers or anything like that. We got to just kind of rip off their takes here and see. We got to react to Undisputed or something and see what the fuck they're talking about. Skip Bayless trashes LeBron for the millionth time over the. I mean, it's one thing what he did early in his career, like, okay, the Maverick series kind of justified some of his criticism and stuff like that, but it's got to be hysterical looking at it now, how anybody could take him seriously, like, a decade later, and he's still going to try to poke holes in any little thing. Or in some ironic way, he's actually going to be thanked at, like, LeBron's Hall of Fame speech or something like, oh, I wouldn't have been what I was if it wasn't for him, because he holds him to such a high standard all the time, no matter what he does. But it's just kind of like so forced. How much longer? Yeah, I don't know. 35 minutes. I don't know if I have the energy for this, but I'll play like one game, I guess. Tony Snell returns to the NBA for bigger purpose. It's about my boys. Yeah, that's all you'll see with the NFL is Taylor Swift headline after Taylor Swift headline. Like, I don't even have anything against her, but it's just funny how much people are getting triggered by every mention of her there. But it's like, no, I may as well now. It's like, what do you call it? Yeah, like she started at such a young age, regardless of whatever help she might have had from her parents and stuff. So you kind of have to respect her whole thing. Just whatever she's done is obviously not a fluke. Yeah, as far as the Nuggets, I think they have a very low chance of possibly repeating because they won in sort of, speaking of Mickey Mouse type things, like, not that it's their fault. They beat the team that beat the previous champion. Obviously, the Lakers had beaten the Warriors, so that in itself is impressive, but it's like, you're playing against the 7th seed in the conference finals and the 8th seed in the finals. That's like the worst possible competition you could go up against, even though you're saying, like, well, then how did they get there? But it's still a difference, I would say, of a higher level standard. Like, you're going up against those teams which had little unlikely upsets and a greater path than usually expected, but so there's still obviously good teams, but it's not the same as what you normally have to go up against, like a dynastic. Oh, you have to beat the Spurs, or you have to beat Shaq and Kobe in their prime, or you have to beat like fucking, the Warriors with KD. You didn't have to go up against one of those type of teams. You just went up against good teams that somehow had exceptional seasons or whatever. Or there's kind of a good thing with Damian Lillard. It's like he's a starter and everybody's upset and says like Jalen Brunson or somebody else should have been the starter. But it's because of their record, in the same way that Damian probably missed out on a couple chances to be the starter over like Curry or somebody, where he was having better statistical seasons than Curry, but because Curry had the better record and he had the championship cloud and all that, he would still be the starter for his renown and namesake and, you know, all that, even if Lillard was having a better season. So it's the same thing here. Because the Bucks have a better record, it's like good karmic justice for all the ones he might have missed there. Right now he has the better record, so therefore he gets it even if he doesn't deserve it statistically. So it's kind of the same thing that comes back to bite you there, as far as why he didn't have to, why he wouldn't have gotten it on the other side. The Celtics are kind of clowns and frauds because of the fact that this is at least the proper use of a just chatting stream. The fact that like you're waiting for something to download or whatever. Maybe I'll play a game of chess actually while I wait. But no, they're totally fraudulent clowns. As much as I like Jaylen Brown, just like what happened last year should give you no confidence in them whatsoever, because of the fact that it's like they're just completely fucking stupid. Right? Don't let us win. Don't let us win 1. Don't let us win 2. Whatever. Like they kept saying when they go down 3-0 to an 8 seed. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then, okay, Sleepy Joe Mozzarella is the nickname that some people gave, like Sleepy Joe Biden, is they gave his coach. But no, it's like, it's so stupid what they did. They're down 3-0, then they win 3 in a row. It shows you clearly they were the better team and they could have won if they had any interest. And then they still lose in game 7 anyway. The ultimate troll job. You know what one of his tropes is? He'll do, yeah, I wish you could do that. Like you could just search YouTube comments by user. Because like I don't know how else I would have to go one by one and collect his. Like he keeps doing these Desmond Bain quotes. So it's like he's talking about the Warriors. He's on one of the videos like about something that they're not doing well, if they lost a game. Pieces cost them their strength. Victory has defeated them, but said by Desmond Bain, like in quotations. Everything is just like a quote from Bane from obviously The Dark Knight Rises, but it's as if Desmond Bain is saying it just because that's his namesake. That is kind of a good like running joke. Anytime something happens, he has a quote ready for it. Like the Kings lost 4 games in a row or something, and it's like, oh, they play like young men with nothing held back. Admirable, what mistaken, Desmond Bain. Or he always does that in chess too, like Magnum Carlos says something or Naka says something. Like he'll use like some alternate name, so you can't say, oh, he's misquoting somebody, because it's not actually the person who's saying it. It's just said in some tongue-in-cheek way, obviously. Yeah, I can't believe it's taking me so long to get back to 1500 in chess, just because we'd gotten to like 1550 legit. It's just an effort thing somehow. Yeah, the 65 game rule, like it kind of makes sense why they would do that. And if you're injured, then just, I guess, too bad. But basically, yeah, see, that's something you could debate. Like how, like the whole thing of clutchness or like choking or whatever applies in even a turn-based game like chess. How like Nepo's leading in every game in the World Championship. He's up, you know, he wins the first game, then he's always up by at least 1 point. And then somehow he manages to still lose at the end, like he gets overconfident or something, or chokes even harder than Ding towards the end. So it's like either you could believe there's no such thing as being clutch, because it's like, oh, you hit all these shots at the end of the game, but then why didn't you hit them? You know, like you missed all those shots throughout the game. So if you just hit those instead, you would be up, and so you wouldn't need to hit them at the end. Like at what point does that become a thing? Like just make the ones that you missed in the third quarter, and you can be on the bench as you're blowing the other team out. So it's like you don't really believe in that from a certain point of view, that don't even let it get to that point, and then you're truly clutch. But yeah, it applies even to stuff like that. Dwight Howard's going on like an international fucking world tour, where he's like played for so many different things, Taiwan and this and that. Ben Simmons is back. Dylan Brooks is acting like a clown like normal. Draymond Green's averaging his regular triple single probably. I love that moment when, you know, Curry and Clay were out, and it's like, wow, now Draymond can really step up and show why he's a Hall of Famer. Is he going to lead the league in assists now? Is he going to maybe score a couple more points, like over 10? Is he going to have like way more rebounds or lock people down? Or, oh, wait, he was fucking completely useless. So that's why people like that don't really deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, despite whatever impact they might have had and they play a role. By my standard, it should always be somebody like, okay, he's at least a franchise player. He can do something, you know, more. So like Clay, okay, he could have been a franchise player if he was called upon to do it, right? But he was a better as a second option, something like that. But there's no way that Draymond, like, there's actually a pretty good case to be made. Like, if Draymond, like, he's never capable of being the third best player on a championship team, because in 2015 when they won, Andre Iguodala stepped up and he won the MVP, whatever, whether he really didn't deserve it over Curry, but it was like Curry, Clay, and then Andre stepped up, so it wasn't Draymond. Then 2017, 2018, you introduced Kevin Durant, so the real big three is Kevin Durant, Clay, and Steph. So then Draymond gets bumped down to fourth place. And then even in 2022, when you win, now Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole step up. So like they're individually each better playing better than Draymond. So now it's like, okay, it's Clay, Steph, Poole, and Wiggins. So at no point was Draymond ever actually the third best player, even on any of those teams. If you really think about it, no matter how much you value defense, and I'm the type of person who would have always liked that. There's this certain play by Ginobili in the 2005 finals that I would always point to as like, this is why defense is fun to watch, despite how low scoring games those were, and despite how few people actually, that's like the least viewed finals ever, two defensive teams, the Pistons and the Spurs. But it's like he had to work so hard to score that shot. So what you realize in that moment is like Ginobili played better or shot a better percentage against the Pistons that year than Kobe did in 2004 in the finals. So what you're realizing is that, yes, for his career, you might not look at that as a legitimate comparison, but like the degree of difficulty becomes so crazy that even scoring 15, 20 points is like a huge deal, because you're doing against such a defensive juggernaut, and you had to be so creative and crafty that every little score he made is like, wow, that's like the hardest shot or the hardest possession you've ever had to score. So it makes it actually meaningful that those 80 points that you score, even if that's that final score of the game, that actually means more than scoring like 100, 130 now, right, where everybody's just bombing threes. So, and then people always say, well, maybe players are just better shooters now and better offensively, and even centers can shoot now better than guards used to be able to and stuff. But the only problem is that then you should still have hand checking and stuff like that, so then let them deal with that and they'll still be successful, obviously. But it's like it's too much in one direction. Players might be more skilled now or better or whatever, but then you're taking away rules that would make it, you know, a little more challenging for them. So that's not fair. You should keep it all the same. Yeah, I like that as sort of a metric to show, like, what do you call it? Our third decade of climate action. What the fuck? But yeah, like the Pistons and those type of series, or there's like some conspiracy like, oh, the league didn't want the Pistons to win the second championship because of the Malice at the Palace incident and stuff like that. But it's like that I would buy that, like, oh, it was rigged against them and that's why they lost that year. But I would buy that if the Spurs weren't the opponent, because the league didn't want the Spurs to win either, because they were boring and they were both hurting their ratings. You know, both teams were so defensive minded that they got very low ratings in general in their games. So, you know, they wouldn't have been on either player's side. The Basketball League, formerly North American, is a professional organization. 2018 expanded to 38 teams. Where the spirit of the game lives. What the fuck is this? Professional league, player salaries from 500 to 6,500. What the fuck is this? We have the NBA at home. The NBA at home. Or yeah, finally they'll get a team in fucking Seattle. If one of these players like LeBron wants to own a team, he should just make his own team and in Seattle. Everybody would love him for that. Or Kevin Durant, when he retires, should go back and put one there. Because Seattle seems like it should have one. I don't get why you'd rather, I don't know, they'll have like 5 teams in California, but they can't have one in Washington. This feels kind of sad that they ever did that. Got rid of that. Or like they'll do all these other expansion teams now, but that won't be the one that they actually do. Let's see if this fucking thing's almost done. 23 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if I have the patience to do this. Holy shit, dude. It's hard to keep, you know, you might say like, oh, why not just keep every game installed? But like, okay, I played GTA Online for the first time in years the other day. So like, oh, how am I supposed to do that? Oh, it's because it's like, what do you call it? It's like, you know, that would have been 100 plus gigs. Then we're playing Ark, so that's another 100 plus gigs. And then we'll play this 50 gigs, and then we'll play Genshin Impact. That's like 200 gigs. All this kind of shit. Like, it's just too much. Yeah, I mean, I'll let it be installed, but then I don't even have room for it. I'm too tired to even do this. Whatever. But you know what? I kind of want to try to do like a longer stream. I don't know. And then I can do this. I'll do a game of this. Then I'll play some chess. Then I'll play Genshin Impact or something again more, since I have it installed. See, now I'll uninstall that because it's just so fucking massive. Or at least the act of installing it was so painful because you had to have like 140 gigs available, which might, or 170 actually, which might not seem like that big of a deal, but I guess that's enough of those. I should do it one day where like I go through all of my friends' quotes though like that, because there are some hilarious jokes in there. That Rondo one was to his credit. They arrest him for gun possession, but they look at him and they realize, oh, he's not a shooter. Let him go. Or there'd be those weird games where he would be. He had that 44-point epic game with Boston where he was actually hitting jump shots, right? And they still lost, but that was an insane one. I remember that. You know what? The art for War Thunder is actually kind of bad on here, for the simple fact that it's like it's showing you only the jet action. What about the tanks and the whatever other boats? And it has all these other mechanics in there, but it makes it seem like it's like what World of Tanks is, except only for jets, but actually it's not. Or whenever I think see jets, I think of that missed opportunity in GTA 5 where like there should have been a mission that forces you to use a jet or use a tank. Like they have those vehicles in the game, but there's not a single one that ever requires you to do them. And I always came up with that epic final heist that they should have done, instead of what they did with the, you know, you kill Stretch and you kill the Chinese and all this kind of stuff. It should have instead, or they could have done one even after that. You go down and chase down Don Percival, the leader of Merryweather, could be like the final boss of the game, and you got to chase him down to his military base, and you fly in there with a helicopter, or you fly in there with a jet, where he's like, Trevor flies in a tank hanging down from his jet, and then he goes and drops off Franklin on the big battleship of wherever his base is, Percival. And so then Franklin's in a tank shooting up shit on the ground. Meanwhile, you switch to Trevor and you're having a dogfight in the sky in a jet. And then Michael's doing something on the ship, like covert incognito, hitting some switches and whatever he does, like tasing people and playing all stealthy. So every character would have their iconic moment using one of the vehicles that were never used in any other mission, right? Franklin in the tank because he's like more about ground vehicles. Trevor in the sky having a dogfight in the jet because he's always about using planes and helicopters and stuff. And then Michael doing his traditional stuff like on the ground. That would be such a badass epic mission that puts every vehicle to use in before there's probably a mission like that in online or something, or in some DLC, or they'll steal my idea. But like that would have been 100% what I would have done for the final mission in the actual single player game. Last played yesterday. I love how it counts that, even though obviously that's not even launching it. That's just literally starting the download of it. Playtime 117 minutes, which seems unbelievable. I don't remember playing it that long, like in the one first and only session of it I've ever played. Yes, of course. It won't let me put the word war in my tags because that might conflict with Twitch's moderation policy, even though the name of the fucking game is all I'm trying to convey there. War Thunder. Hang on a second. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just play one game here. I will be doing still the permanent thing, despite how much it might trigger somebody. But it doesn't matter because it's not like I'm playing this so much that I'll run out. Or somehow I'll keep getting more. Right, like, so we tried some of the jets or the planes or whatever, so now we're only going to play as the... How do you even change the thing? Right, because this has vehicles and other... I mean, it has other types of vehicles in there. How do we even do this? Well, that's funny. I can't remember who we played as or who we lost as even. Oh, but see, like, even that's the tank, so what happened? How did we... I didn't play as any sort of ground-based vehicle. Right, so USA has those. Oh, maybe it's just based on country that way, but it doesn't make sense. Aren't there boats and other things too? How the fuck do you change? I don't get it. Custom battles, user missions, single missions, dynamic campaign, benchmark. Player stars has accepted you to their squad. Oh, you can even do it from within the thing. But then I don't want other people to hear it. I completely forget how this works, but air arcade battles. Oh yeah, like if you switch here, then it should show me. I don't know how this fucking makes sense. Why does he keep showing me that? Oh, I thought he like invited me to a game or something itself. Tank tutorial. Yeah, actually I didn't do the tutorial at all, so I don't know how that works. Just, you can launch some kind of thing. Do like a ground battle. Stars. Or yeah, that's always like a cheese when you can do that in like GTA Online or something. Where you're like in a group with somebody and it's like 2v1. Or no, it wasn't in that. What was it? Oh, it was in Fortnite that I was playing with somebody. Was that him? Or was that somebody else? I can't remember. But we were playing in Fortnite and we were ganging up on... Yeah, that was him. We were ganging up on people because it's a 2v1 every time, and that's not really fair. I don't understand. Why are they only showing me the thing? Oh, you got to change it for each one. I get it. So you got to go... We can either do boats or tanks. They were AI. I don't think they were all AI, but still the principle behind it is just as degenerate. Which I'm all for that, but... Yeah, see, look how many tanks we have to go through. So we have this one to do. Okay, just launch something. They were all AI. Next, you're going to tell me all the people I dominated in this game are AI too. Not that we really have played it enough to do anything with that, but... Yeah, we got this one. So it doesn't mean that if you lose it during the course of the game that you lose it. It means if you lose the game, you lose it. Or something like... You know, whatever. You have to win the match, which I don't even know sometimes how that's even determined. Yeah, how do you do it? Oh, okay, that's my bad. Yeah, that's something I've rarely done in all these games that I do, even multiplayer stuff like the Gerardo was going to carry me in Overwatch or something, but the point is that basically, what is this? Battle rating 1.7. I don't know what all this is. NA. To determine a vehicle's weak points, attack the weak point for massive damage. But yeah, I do like World of Tanks for what it's worth, so I can't only imagine that I would like this too, and I like the whole, that's the next one I gotta play is like World of Warships that I always saw ads and stuff for. But basically the point is that this at least has a variety of vehicles, so it's like Battlefield or something where you're able to have them all go against each other. Possibly. Can't switch to endless status when the squad is in the battle queue. While in battle, press F1 to view the help on the controls. Spectator mode. Queue battle, respawn, whatever. How does this work? Yeah, I don't even know how this works at all from the context of, but it should be pretty much standard thing. How come I can see his crosshair? Or it's not, it's the one that you have to like line up to match it, something like that. You no longer hear what over the chaos and the mayhem of the in-game sounds, or so I wonder if we're going against bots here though, mostly. Yeah, even if this blows up, as long as we're able to still win or whatever, the whole overall condition, which I don't know what the thing is. Is it like destroy X number of things, or is it like capture the thing, capture the zone? Our team is capturing zone B. What's he even shooting at? He's like doing what he gets triggered by in some things. Kind of easy to not even be able to tell what's going on sometimes, but it's okay. Or you can tell by their names to some extent who's a bot. Okay. Enemy kill assist 329. You've been destroyed. Now, does that mean that I can't respawn? Oh, now we would have lost both tanks in the course of one match. I kind of try to play it too like a drive-by style. That doesn't really work because obviously you can't do that when you're going in a slow-moving tank. It's like if we still win, this one would still be alive, right? The other one's gone for good. You gotta wait for the stupid crosshair to line up here is the point. Yeah, I have no idea about the vehicles or the ammo types or anything crazy like that. Yeah, I like all the interplay. Wait, but it's supposed to be a ground battle, so how's he calling in an airstrike and using that? The goal is we have to not be like a sitting duck and just... Feels like the other zones are ripe for the taking, so... Why don't we just ignore that one? This is my strategic mind coming into play. Just get A and B and fuck the C one. Let them have it. What? I can't really tell what's happening there, like where it could just be that they're using overpowered stuff compared to me. Cannot move. Okay, so we might not be able to do anything then. It said you have like one more, but with what? Whatever, we can just watch the rest of the thing. Let's watch how it's done by him. I can accept my defeat. Lost is the 2 US. I shouldn't be able to change my thing, my allegiance to my country here, and try to mooch off somebody else to keep going. Where is he, man? Or did he die too? I don't even know. To blacklist. What if I do that when I'm already in his group though? Oh, that's him there in the green. But his name has all this other kind of weird stuff on it. Yeah, let's see how a master does it. Now the point is, even though they just destroyed our tank, we would still get to save it let's say if he wins, if they win, which there doesn't seem like they're really going to. Hey, how's it going, Chuck? Yeah, we need Chuck Norris to save us right on cue. That's the only chance we'll have. He's getting destroyed too. But no, I play a kind of two-face role where I expect, like, I play it like I'm a tank or something, like in an MMO where I can just tank everything, but obviously not. Like, I go in so slow and I act like I'm doing a drive-by and I can just evade what they're doing. Yeah, I should be one of those guys in the thing. Each of these could be a player in the cockpit manually controlling that, which maybe you can do it like that. No, you're going insane using a shit tank in War Thunder. Yeah, it must be one of these starting ones that I'm using. I can clearly use that as an excuse. It's not just that I'm bad. It's not shit, you're just tired and stressed. Yeah, who needs World of Tanks when you have this? Which, as far as I know, at least World of Tanks doesn't have all the other kind of vehicle types, right? They just have tanks. Which I almost thought this would just have the jets for some reason. You need like one game for each vehicle. World of Warships only has ships. The World of Tanks only has tanks. This would only have jets, let's say, just to... yeah, because World of Tanks is garbage. What I've never played that I probably should one day is one of the Battlefield games, just to see all the, you know, the vehicle interplay and stuff there. Is probably pretty fun. Or they're pretty known, I guess, for like destructible environments and stuff, which maybe could be pretty good. Yeah, see, let's watch what kind of strategy he's doing here. You're gonna obviously lose. No available respawn. Don't really need the cursor here, or I guess if you want to interact with those, but kind of messes up the spectating thing, and it's kind of hard to hide it without messing up your camera angle. Look how these clowns are just looking in the opposite direction there, though. Like, who are you guys shooting at? You're almost as brain dead as me. You want to see what 10.0 or 11.3 is like? I don't know what those even are, but sure. Like certain types of vehicles, or oh, you mean the skill level? Oh, yeah, we can play like a guess the elo with this game. Yeah, I'm 1.0, but this guy should be a little higher because he plays all the time. The guy I'm watching, but he must have somehow downgraded it for me, or it balances it out. Yeah, he even said he would carry my dumbass, but I guess he's gonna fail. Or maybe they'll make a comeback. 11.3 and 10.0 is the modern stuff. Abrams and T-72 is interesting. I'm certainly no vehicle expert, but yeah, it would be fun to kind of work your way up and see the, you know, earn your way up and get better ones. You just don't want to feel like you're at a disadvantage along the way, as you probably often are. But I'm always so patient like that in card games. Like, I don't mind. I'll make a new free-to-play thing and just... I don't care if I lose, because I know I'm just losing because I'm using a worse deck. And then I, you know, slowly build your collection up. So, it could be fun. I just don't play like games like this enough to even do that. I'm assuming he's still waiting, or maybe he's lost already. Otherwise, you know, the camera shouldn't just stay on this. I don't fully get how the aiming works, but you basically have to line up the thing inside of that. Like the little crosshair. You died. I guess we lost both of the US tanks then. We'll have to go to the next one. Or maybe that's all I even have the energy or the time for right now. I thought you were gonna carry me. You play 7.3 Britain. Let's just wait till the match is over, though. I mean, you can't even blame me entirely for that one, but I guess I did die pretty early. This dude's just fucking AFK the whole time. Well, I said one game, so that was the game. I don't have time now, so let's just enjoy whatever the conclusion of this is. Fucking hell. Hate Leopard 2. I haven't tried the boat mechanic at all. I tried the jets last time. I tried the tank this time. So maybe if I play again, I'll try. It's so bullshit. I'll try the boats. But of course, there were jets in this mode anyway that we saw flying around, so I don't get it. I thought this was supposed to be a ground battle only. He's getting like some special kill streak that enables it. Say that while using stock BMP UM. It's hot ass. Because BMP bad stock. Just the image perfectly sums up the match there. Just the smoke, you can barely see what's happening. My place in the team is 16. How many people are on the team, I guess? Probably 6. Oh shit, I guess I did die super early. We were getting outplayed by bots and shit. I mean, look, it's a good game, but I have to find time to play it, or I could make it my next. We're missing X number of jets that I can't even remember, but we lost both of those, and that gives us an incentive to at least buy or to get more. You do have a lot to choose from. Yeah, these things don't grow on trees. When they're gone, they're gone. You can't afford another one. What was that game where I said that? Like where it was like permadeath because you can't. Oh, Anthem. Like it's permadeath because you can't afford another suit. But you think these javelins just grow on trees? So if you don't actually die, you get to eject yourself out like a nightmare in Code Geass or something. But it's like your suit that you're wearing, like this special. I don't know what you'd call it. That you're wearing the suit, and then if you die, the suit gets destroyed, and then you eject out. But you'll still lose the game, and your permadeath run is over because technically, oh, you can't afford another suit, so that's why you lost, not because your character actually died. Just to explain the condition, sort of in RP, in a very funny way. Same with every tank. Unless it's, yeah, there'll be like some sort of weapon tree too in this, like in Fire Emblem, like axes beat lances and lances beat swords and swords beat axes. So like ships beat planes and planes beat tanks and tanks beat ships or something like that, right? They'll all have a certain advantage, or they'll have like, you know, just some whatever Pokemon type of advantage. You would think the flying would have advantage over everything, though, because you can just, you're in trouble, just go away. That's why the bird dinosaur survived while all the rest died, because no matter how burly your T-Rex tank looks, or no matter how cool you think your boat is, you're never going to be able to get away from the danger. Whereas you can just fly the fuck away wherever you want. You kill whatever you see, it doesn't matter. Doesn't have buffs against anything. It's not like that. Unless it's a plane with bombs. You've got nothing to do. Yeah, whatever. That's enough for me. But yeah, you failed to carry me in the one game like you said you would. Even though I played, obviously, like garbage and died pretty quickly.